What if the most important battle of your life is not happening around you, but within you? There are wars no one sees, silent battles that never show on your face, never make a sound, never leave visible marks, yet deeply shake the soul from within. It is in the hidden places of the mind that many spiritual battles begin. Before the fall, there is a thought. Before fear takes over, there is an inner voice. Before the heart grows weak, something has already been repeated in silence within us. Many times, the enemy does not need to raise a storm on the outside if he can plant confusion on the inside. Because a weary, wounded, and unguarded mind easily becomes fertile ground for anxiety, guilt, doubt, and discouragement. But the Word of God shows us that the Lord does not want us to live imprisoned by these things. He does not only want to heal our circumstances. He wants to renew our minds, strengthen our inner being, and restore our hearts. For a long time, I thought the answer to my distress was to change the scenery of my life. I believed peace would come when everything around me was finally in order. But over time, I came to understand something deep and spiritual. God begins His work within. The transformation the Lord brings does not begin on the outside first, but in the secret place. It begins where no one sees. It begins in our thoughts, our intentions, and the meditations of the heart. The Bible teaches us that whatever fills the mind will eventually influence the course of our lives. If the soul feeds only on fear, it grows weak. If it feeds on lies, it loses direction. But when it feeds on the truth of God, it begins to find stability. The mind is never neutral. It is always being shaped by something, either by the voices of this world or by the voice of the Lord, either by confusion or by truth, either by the weight of fear or by the peace that comes from above. That is why meditating on the Word is not a small part of the Christian life. It is protection. It is alignment. It is sustenance for the soul. There were moments when my thoughts felt like a constant battlefield. Painful memories returned. Old accusations resurfaced. Insecurity spoke loudly. And many times my heart felt weak. But in that process, I began to understand something precious. Not every voice speaking inside me comes from God. Not every thought deserves to be welcomed. Not every accusation deserves to be accepted. Not every fear deserves to govern my life. So little by little, I began to respond differently. Instead of simply listening to the turmoil, I began bringing my mind before the Lord. Instead of feeding anxiety, I began seeking truth. Instead of agreeing with guilt, I began remembering grace. Instead of bowing to fear, I began resting in the faithfulness of God. And that is when something changed within me. Not instantly, not through passing emotion, but through the steady work of God, renewing my inner life day by day. There is holy power in repeating the truth. When the soul turns its eyes toward God every day, it begins to realign. When the heart is filled with the Word, it begins to grow strong. When the mind learns to remain in the Lord, it finds rest. God did not call us to live as prisoners of fear. He called us to stand firm in truth, not to be carried away by inner storms, but to be led by His presence. The more room the Word of God has within us, the weaker lies become. The more the heart surrenders to the Lord, the less authority confusion carries. The more the soul remembers who God is, the more it rises again. The renewing of the mind is a silent miracle. It is God tearing down old strongholds. It is God healing wounded thoughts. It is God planting peace where war once lived. And when that happens, life as a whole begins to change. Maybe no one knows the battle you are fighting in your mind today. Maybe your struggle is silent. Maybe you are tired of fighting within while trying to stay standing on the outside. But hear this by faith. God sees. God knows. And God is still at work in the secret place. The Lord has not abandoned your soul. He has not lost control of your story. And He is still able to restore what fear tried to destroy. If there is confusion within you today, God can bring clarity. If there is anguish, God can breathe peace. If there is weariness, God can renew your strength. If there is war, God can establish rest. So do not hand your mind over to the voices trying to weaken you. Hand your mind over to the Lord. Let His truth take the place of anxiety. Let His presence silence the chaos. Let His word form in you a steadfast heart. Because when God begins to renew a mind, He also begins to transform a destiny.